If you had to choose one word to describe the feeling of 2020, what would that word be? I'm going to give you just a second to think about that while I write down my word for you guys. So here we go. My word for 2020 is the word angst. Now, angst is a word that describes a feeling of deep anxiety or dread, and it's typically about the human condition or the state of the world. So you can kind of see where I'm getting that word from, can't you? But angst is not a new word. In fact, if you were to go all the way back to right after the people of Israel escape Egypt, they're in the wilderness, they've been slaves in Egypt for many, many years, they're finally out of slavery, but they realize in that moment in the wilderness that Pharaoh has changed his mind and he is chasing after them, and they assume that he's about to annihilate them. And in that moment, they get really angsty. They start complaining, they start grumbling at Moses. But Moses says something very interesting to them that I think is helpful for us today as well. Here's what he says in Exodus 14, verse 13. But Moses told the people, "Don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians you see today will never be seen again. The Lord himself will fight for you. Just stay calm." And you, of course, know what happens next. The next part of the story is the Red Sea that God parts for them, but then takes out the Egyptians behind them when the waters come back. Now, the interesting thing is that the psalmist in Psalm 46 picks up on this idea of stillness in the face of adversity. In Psalm 46, verse 10, the Lord speaks to the psalmist when he says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be honored by every nation. I will be honored throughout the world." And then the psalmist wraps up by saying this, "The Lord of heaven's armies is here among us. The God of Israel is our fortress." Now, the thing I love about this psalm is the way it starts. Let me just read the first few verses. Here's how it starts. "God is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. So we will not fear when earthquakes come and the mountains crumble into the sea. Let the oceans roar and foam. Let the mountains tremble as the waters surge." Now, I don't know what it is that's causing you angst this year. There's a lot going on in our world, and there's a lot that could be causing you that deep sense of dread and anxiety. But whatever it is, I just want to encourage you with this today. God is here among us, and we can be still in his presence, trusting him that he will act, that he is sovereignly ruling over his creation, and that nothing is outside of his control. I hope that encourages you today, and I hope that you have a good week this week, resting in the promises of God.